This is Newswatch at 5:30 with Anthony Agostino.
Barkbusters, Alanis and Marco are at all the clinics to answer any questions you might have regarding dog safety.
Excellent. Well, we're going to ask you some of those questions right now, Marco. Before we get into some of the car safety questions, fill us in on Barkbusters a little bit and what the company is all about.
Well, Barkbusters was founded around 20 years ago in Australia. Since then, we've grown into 10 countries. We're 410 trainers worldwide, and we've helped over 400,000 dogs already.
Wow, nice. And how long have you been here in the area?
We've been working the area for 7 months now. We've been with Barkbusters since October. So, the way the system works, we go to clients' homes, we address the issues where they occur, and we actually teach the owners how to become good leaders, good communication. There's no food rewards and no real physical training involved. It's all about leadership and proper communication.
Interesting. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on, but what I want to talk about right now, Elena, is being safe with your pets in the vehicle, and yourself and Marco are going to show us a couple of things here. Maybe you can fill us in as Marco demonstrates on what people should be doing with their pets.
Okay, so this is a car harness. I'll just come over here. And so what's really important is that the dog is secured in the vehicle. And there are two ways of doing that. One is having the dog in a crate, and the crate has to be secured by the seatbelt. And the other way is having the dog in a car harness, and then the car harness is secured with the seatbelt. And the reason why that is important is because we don't want the dog to be a distraction, and we also don't want the dog to become a projectile. And one of the other important reasons is that in the case of an emergency, if you were in an accident, it would be important for the dog to be secured, because if an emergency worker were to come to try and approach the car and the dog was loose, there could be a dangerous situation. So, yeah.
So basically this harness that you're talking about is great because the dogs can roam slightly free. They don't have to be in a box or a crate or anything like that, but at the same time, they are secure in the vehicle. They're not going to be running around becoming a distraction like Gary was mentioning.
And they come in all different sizes. We have one on the pug in the car and then one on the boxer, so they come in all sizes. And they're not very expensive. You can buy them for about $25 to $35. And really, it saves a life. It can save your dog's life, but it can also save people in the car.
It's like a seatbelt for them.
That's exactly what it is. When we worked with Gary, we talk about buckling our kids in. We buckle ourselves in, so it's imperative that we buckle our animals in also.
Now, just like with the child car seats, you have to make sure they're properly secured in there and put in the right way.
Exactly.
Now, are these the same? Is there a certain method that people should be following?
There is a certain method, and we've actually discovered these ones in particular. What I like about them is they cover their whole chest versus there are some that just cover like a strip down their chest.
Okay.
So these are nice because you wouldn't break their sternum in the case of an accident. And they have to fit them properly. They should be snug around their chest and around their waists. And that can be slightly tricky with some dogs, so you need to go in and make sure they fit. He has a very large chest but a tiny waist, so you really need to make sure that they're safe. And there are adjustments on them. You can tighten them around their waists.
And where can these be found?
These ones in particular are found at Urban Paws on Midland here in Kingston. And there are different types in other stores. You can find them in your local pet store.
Excellent. Well, it's a great, safe way to travel with the pets. I like the fact that obviously they're not in a crate or anything like that, so they can just roam a little bit free, have that freedom, and sense like they're part of the family, but they're not ruining the ride or anything like that.
And the other really important thing that we like to talk about is this will keep them in the car. Some people like to open their windows, and we really try and encourage people to only open them enough for for the dog to sniff, not to get their whole head out, because stones can, get into an eye, get into their face. So this is good to keep them in the car. Sometimes you'll see dogs trying to jump out. This will keep them safe, and they can lay down or sit up. And like you said, they have a little bit of room, but they're not free in the car.
Excellent. Well, those are some great tips on how to travel safely with your pets. A little bit later on, we're going to have Alana and Marco back. We're going to talk about training your dog and some great ideas and ways to go about it. So make sure you stick with us. That's coming up a little bit later on in Newswatch at 5.